Welcome to today's podcast. In life, we will inevitably feel angry at times. From small daily situations to larger issues at work or in our personal lives. However, handling anger wisely will not only help us avoid mistakes in our actions, but also help us maintain calm, improve relationships and achieve better self-control. In this podcast, we will explore 4 extremely wise ways to handle anger. These methods are not only based on theory but also on deep philosophies in life that we can apply to become more self-controlled and mature people. 1. Stop and breathe deeply. In moments of anger, the first thing we need to do is stop and take a deep breath. It sounds simple, but this is an extremely effective way to calm the body and mind. When we are angry, our body reacts automatically by increasing our heart rate, blood pressure and releasing stress hormones such as cortisol, making us feel like we are on fire. At this point, it is important to reduce the intensity of the emotion, rather than taking immediate action. When we breathe deeply, we provide oxygen to the body, helping us calm down and reduce stress. This helps our brain to get out of its agitated state, allowing us to think more clearly and make better decisions. Think about when you are angry and start breathing deeply. You will feel the change in your body. When your body is calm, your mind will also be clearer, helping you avoid making rash actions. In many schools of philosophy, controlling emotions is one of the important factors to achieve peace of mind. Ancient Greek philosophers such as Aristotle said that emotions must be controlled and used appropriately so as not to harm yourself or others. Stopping and breathing is not a way to suppress emotions, but a way to master them, understand them, and from there be able to react calmly and reasonably. When you feel like you are about to lose control, stop, take a deep breath and count from 1 to 10. This will give you enough time to calm down and not rush into action when emotions are rising. 2. Accept and recognize your emotions. The second way to handle anger wisely is to accept and recognize your emotions. One of the biggest mistakes we often make when we are angry is to try to push the emotion out of our minds, as if we don't want to admit that we are angry. However, this only causes the emotion to explode and leads to uncontrolled actions. Why should we recognize our emotions? Recognizing your emotions means that you acknowledge and face your emotions instead of avoiding them. When you recognize that you are angry, you will be able to understand why you feel that way. Sometimes anger comes from hurt, frustration, or a feeling of helplessness. When you understand the root of your emotions, you will be able to find a more effective way to deal with the problem instead of just acting impulsively. According to Buddhist philosophy, emotions are not bad, but letting them dominate and control our behavior is the problem. Buddha taught that we cannot stop emotions from coming, but we can learn to not let them guide our actions. Recognizing and accepting emotions is the first step in mastering emotions, not letting them create negative consequences. When you feel angry, stop for a moment and ask yourself, why do I feel this way? What makes me feel hurt or disrespected? Understanding the cause will help you handle the situation more calmly and clearly. 3. Take a break. One of the most effective ways to deal with anger is to take a break. Sometimes, the best thing you can do when you are angry is to remove yourself from the situation or environment that is making you feel agitated. Staying in a tense situation will only increase your emotions, and you will most likely say or do things that you will later regret. Why take a break? When we are angry, our brains tend to react instinctively, without thinking carefully. If we continue to stay in that situation, we can damage the relationship or cause unnecessary damage. Taking a break gives us space, calms our emotions, and gives us time to think. Only when our minds are calm can we make the right decisions and solve problems rationally. The philosophy of self-control is very important in every culture. Even in Eastern philosophies like Confucianism, pausing before acting is an important principle. Taking a break from a situation helps us to stop acting on our emotions and think more clearly. When you feel angry, if possible, leave the room or place you are in. Go for a walk, get some fresh air, or do something else that will help you regain your composure. 4. Practice forgiveness and letting go. Finally, one of the wise ways to deal with anger is to practice forgiveness and letting go. Sometimes, anger comes from our inability to forgive others or ourselves. However, holding on to anger only harms ourselves, causing stress and suffering. Forgiveness does not mean that you accept wrongdoing, but that you free yourself from the burden of anger. Why forgive? When you forgive, you not only free others but also free yourself from negative emotions. Forgiveness is an act of freedom, helping you find peace of mind. Moreover, forgiveness helps you maintain good relationships and live a healthier, happier life. In Zen and Buddhist philosophy, forgiveness is one of the important lessons to achieve peace of mind. Forgiveness is a healing process that frees us from the pain caused by negative emotions. Remember, forgiveness is not for the other person. It is for yourself. When you feel angry, ask yourself, if I don't forgive, can I live peacefully? Practice forgiveness to free yourself from negative emotions and live a lighter life. Anger is a natural part of life, but how we handle it is what really matters. Stopping and taking a deep breath, recognizing your emotions, taking a break from the situation, and practicing forgiveness are wise ways to help us master our emotions and live a peaceful, happy life. These philosophies not only help us maintain relationships but also help us develop ourselves. Become more independent and mature in life. Always remember, controlling anger is the way to master life and live more meaningfully. Thank you for listening. Wish you always calm and clear-headed in every situation.